experience?
Well, I think the biggest lie we've been ever told is that we're linear beings living a linear life.
Yes.
The moment I had
more.
my first couple of these experiences, I know we are dimensional beings living a very dimensional experience of reality. And all of this indoctrination is to keep us from that, because once the game is up, you can't ever go back to being the same person. So this reality, this dimension that we live in, is called space-time. Space is eternal. Space is the field. And you and I experience time by moving through space. So if I'm going to go here to the door, I have to get up and walk through space, and when I walk through space, I'm going to experience time. I have an interview later on today. I know it's going to happen because I'm going to linearly walk through space to experience that time. So in this dimension, we could say that space is the field and time is the river. And so we experience time as we move through space. Got it? Mm-hmm. In the inverse reality, it's actually opposite. In other words, time is everywhere. Time goes on forever. Mm. And you experience space when you move through time. Let me see how I can say it another way. So if time is the field and space is the river, then all of space is enfolded in time. So when you change your speed in this dimension, if we go fast from here to the door, the faster we move, the less time it takes, right? So we can change time by moving through speed. Well, in this dimension where everything is vibration and electromagnetism, the faster your vibration is, the speed, the different levels of space you experience. So all of space is stacked on top of each other here. It's all happening in now because time is everywhere. There is no time. So everything's happening in this moment. And so different levels of consciousness and different levels of energy allow us to experience these different levels of space. So the you that's in the Egyptian period and the you that's in the future is all lined up simultaneously. And when you start slipping through these dimensions, you live. And when I say live, I'm saying that it is real as this. And you know who you are.
Yes.
And the person that you're married to, or the person that you work with, or your best friend is wearing a different face. And you understand your agreement that you negotiated in all of those other places. So you have a few of those experiences, and you start to no longer care about your checking account, the car you drive, what you look like, because you realize that you look like somebody else in another place. And some of the issues and some of the challenges that you have in this life, you're experiencing in that exact same life. And the choices you make here affect the choices that are happening there. And we could say that there's only past lives and future lives in this dimension, in space-time. In that dimension, there is no past lives. It's all happening now. I don't know how else to say it, but as you begin to change your consciousness, you can slip into different spaces, different realities, and experience aspects of yourself that are just like this wonderful kaleidoscope of possibilities.
Future?
I think one of the cool things about it is that you can experience future times too, and that we think that time is fixed. You know, we think it's linear. It's not fixed. No. And so you have to have the moment to understand, when you have the experience, that what you're doing right now is actually affecting all of your past, present, and future lives. Your moment in your meditation, your moment to give, your moment to serve, your moment to love right now affects both your future as well as your past. And when you get a little glimpse, there's the point. Whether it's the past life or the now life that's in the past, or possibly in the past, when you have that moment of expression of self, you bring that back with you. And the knowledge of you as a soul is amplified. You have more understanding to help you execute that this is an illusion that we're living in. So it no longer becomes about getting to the top of the heap or succeeding or being the most whatever. all of a sudden you're realizing now is how you're going to make a difference, or how you're going to contribute, or how you're going to cultivate an aspect of self to help you in this life and all of those other lives that are happening simultaneously. So we've created the conditions for this in one of our advanced workshops, and boy, the stories are off the chart. And because people just get it, they just get who they are. Knowledge is empowerment. Knowledge about self is self-empowerment.
Right.
So, but I'm not talking about knowledge like you may want to argue quantum superimposition, right?
Yeah.
Some people do that, and I've sat and drank martinis with quantum physicists to sunrise, and nobody's changed at the end of it.
Right.
But having the experience of quantum superimposition, which is what that is, that you begin to realize there's a oneness to all of this.
Yes.
That I don't know how else to describe that, but there's a oneness that allows us to understand through experience the mystery of who we are.
Yes.
So the knowledge then becomes the precursor to the experience. But the truth is, the biology, the neuroendocrinology, the quantum physics, the brainwave explanation, the physiology, all has a justifiable pattern that we can begin to emulate, we can begin to teach, and for certain times you have to go past your fatigue. That's what I was trying to say earlier, like the Zen monks that take the Zen monks and give them a koan and make them sit up for 3 days and focus on the koan, and they're thinking with their conscious mind, and they're pushing them with love, and all of a sudden they finally surrender. Well, what is that surrender? The ego finally just gets out of the way, and that's the moment the monk has the realization, or the martial artist does something amazing, or the athlete, or something happens that's not a greater aspect of energy through you. So then time stops when that occurs, because all of a sudden things slow down, or the moment is elongated is the best way to say it. And so when the moment is elongated like that, Einstein said time and space are not conditions in which we live, but modes in which we think. And relative time is altered, and you have access to more time. That's the only way I can say it. I mean, someone who's, schizophrenic has a lot of mystical experiences, and they are mystical experiences, but you can't function in your world. What good is it?
Right.
So you got to be able to take that experience and methodically then ask the question, well, who am I, right? We're only limited by the questions. And then becoming possessed by wanting to know the answers and wanting to go deeper. I think that after a few experiences like that, parts of our brain that have been dormant, now again, this is my theory, parts of our brain that have been shut off or dormant are turned on. And now you're looking through a different lens now, because you only perceive what's mapped in your brain neurologically and what you emotionally have experienced. So the emotion becomes the filter, and the circuitry becomes the focus. And so then you have an experience of space-time and time-space. All of a sudden you activate the circuitry. The lens changes from experience, and the body changes from experience. The circuitry changes from experience. You're not focusing so much on just that particle. You're focusing on the wave and the possibilities. So your lens broadens and your acuity sharpens, and that then alters your perception, which alters your beliefs, which alters your attitudes, which alters your thoughts and feelings, which is altered from your memories or experiences.